So the Democrats, Joe Biden, and the deep state are using our money to fund a proxy war in Ukraine. Now, in the 1980s in Afghanistan, we armed the Mujahideen in order to fight the Soviets. After the Cold War was over, they ended up taking the arms we gave them to attack us on 9/11. And in these two clips from the 2000s, Hillary Clinton acknowledges that we did this.
Let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan, and we did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work. And it was President Reagan in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen. And that's great. Let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is it wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow because we will harvest. So we then left Pakistan. We said, okay, fine, you deal with the stingers that we've left all over your country. You deal with the mines that are along the border. And by the way, we don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, we're sanctioning you.
We're building a relationship that just did not exist. I said in our last trip when you were with me that we had a huge trust deficit, in part because the United States had, to be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything's going to be so much better. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
Now, the reason I bring this up is that the same thing is going to happen in Ukraine. When we fund Azov battalion neo-Nazis, what's going to happen is that they're going to end up attacking us, just like in Afghanistan. And on MSNBC, this clip I'm about to show you, Hillary even argued in favor of arming the Azov Nazis, and she compared arming the people in Ukraine to arming people in Afghanistan. She talks about how they were able to drive the Soviets out by arming the insurgencies at the time, like the Mujahideen. And in the clip I'm about to show you, she doesn't say this, but she goes on in that appearance she made on the Rachel Maddow show. She went on to argue that hopefully by sending arms into Ukraine, we'll be able to destabilize and overthrow Putin. So here it is.
1980. And although no country went in, they certainly had a lot of countries supplying arms and advice and even some advisors to those who were recruited to fight Russia. It didn't end well for the Russians. There were other unintended consequences, as we know. But the fact is that a very motivated and then funded and armed insurgency basically drove the Russians out of Afghanistan.
Now, on the Jimmy Dore show recently, Jimmy and Kurt Metzger called out this warmongering.
This is where you see what a scumbag she is, because she's fully knowledgeable of all the things. It's never a mistake.
They all know exactly what they're doing. You don't think that her and Barack Obama knew that they were keeping the people in Haiti oppressed for corporate profits by keeping them at 31 cents an hour? U.S. and NATO allies arm neo-Nazi units in Ukraine as foreign policy elites yearn for Afghan-style insurgency.
It's only like 5% not. I'm going to be my friends. I did their show. It's only like 5% Nazi. Like the Mujahideen is only like 5% Al Qaeda.
I like how they go from there's no Nazis in Ukraine. That's a Putin talking point.
Yeah.
Okay, there's just a few Nazis. Okay, everybody has Nazis though somewhere.
But
That's
wait,
how it went.
The president's Jewish. So
Yeah,
explain
that's
that,
right.
Jimmy.
Oh, that's it. I skipped that one.
Can you explain how Zelensky's Jewish?
It goes, all right, that's right. That's it. I forgot that one.
Because you know how they could never figure out to not immediately kill the Jewish president so they could get our weapons and
So we're doing it. We're doing it again. History is repeating itself. Who said it? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Well, this is rhyming like this is a motherfucking.
I
good
say
rhyme.
history doesn't repeat itself. Putin just lies.
This is this is like an Eminem rap. This is tight. This is rhyming tight.
Yeah.
So you're doing it again.
You see how this works? The same people who want to suck up to the Democratic Party and suck up to the squad. The same people who lied to us about Russiagate. The same people who lied to us about lockdowns. The same people who lied to us about vaccines and Bill Gates, Big Pharma. People like the Young Turks. People like Crystal and Saga at Breaking Points. People like Kyle Kuklinski. They're lying to you again about the war in Ukraine. And the reason they lie to you is because they're paid shills funded by the military-industrial complex, the DNC, the FBI, the CIA, NATO, and George Soros. And by the way, thanks to them, people who speak the truth, like Jimmy Dore, Jackson Hinkle, and myself, they've discovered their own lane, and they're taking subscribers away from them. Whenever they talk about Ukraine, whenever they talk about lockdowns, whenever they talk about Bill Gates, the vaccine, they get ratioed, they get dislikes, the comment section turns on them, and people unsubscribe from them for the thousands, because they're elites. So they've been exposed, Hillary Clinton has been exposed, and the warmongers in the mainstream media and the lying politicians, they've been exposed. Anyway, there you have it.